Welcome back to Saymore. We're on the second season, and in this season, we're going to cover everything that's alternative healing, everything that you thought about, you knew about, but did not know enough. Today, I have a very special guest, a very dear friend, and an absolutely gorgeous soul and lady right here. Welcome, Aliya Habib Khan. She is the marketing and communications manager for Keyani Wellness. And if you're in Dubai, if you're stepping in Dubai, that's definitely a place you want to visit. You want to go and have this really relaxation, healing, everything all under one roof handled by the lovely Aliya. Aliya, welcome to Say More.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Well, it is a pleasure. Before we got into the recording, I said, okay, Aliya, you've given me your role. Tell me, who is Aliya?
Wow, that's a very loaded question. But Aliya is someone who has been here for a while and very international background, lived in different countries, just enjoys the whole environment of multicultural, the whole environment of being a citizen of this world. And I think with all the experiences that we've had here, the experiences that I have here as well within the center has encompassed all of that I believe in. And I'm at the right place at the right time.
Never a coincidence, right?
Never, no.
So Aliya, when we were, you filled out the get to know you a little form. I loved the backstory. When I asked, so everyone tuning in, I always ask this question: that was there one particular turning point in life that made that change, that made us go in and find out, hey, who am I? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And what can I do that's so aligned with my soul that brings me joy? Share with us, when was that shifting moment for your life?
Yeah, I mean, that was a little while ago. And I remember I was working for a very big company here in the UAE. And I remember I got a job offer from another organization, which was a multinational, would have put me on a more international sort of platform. And I did everything. I was so excited. It was the one brand that I wanted to work for since I was a child, and all that excitement and everything. And I went through multiple interviews. Finally got to the point where I was signing the contract, and the CEO of the company made me choose because he gave me a decision that was a very life-altering decision, to not start a family. And it was a very big company. It was something that
you were asked to take the position and not start a family.
Yes, and this was post all my interviews. It was everything. Just when the pen was about to hit the sign, I was asked this question, and I went into this panic mode. I was, so excited, and at the same time, I was like dreading, oh my God, and we had been previously had some health issues, and we were really going through that, and I was just like, no, this can't be true. I just need to I took a 5-minute break. I asked him, I said, I'm so sorry, but I just need to process. I need to take this. And I went into the corridor, called my husband. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Do I take it? Do I just, because we were planning to have a family, and we were planning to. And he said, I'll leave it up to you. It's your call. It's your, you are the one who wanted to do this. This is your dream. And I went in and I didn't sign. I did not sign that piece of paper. And I cried and I cried and I cried. But you know what? It was my gut that told me. And from that point on, I really believed in my gut instinct, because my gut instinct kept telling me, don't get into this. And and even people kept on saying later on that, oh, you could have just had a family, and it would have been. And I said, but that's deceiving myself and the other party. And so I literally got into the car, I cried, went home and I cried. But you know what, 3 months later I was expecting my first child. So I mean, in retrospect, it happened for a reason. It was maybe a building thing for me. It was a test for me that, here's something that you love, but we're going to just take that away. And, and so it made me appreciate life so much more, because all the steps that I took after that were to be the present parent, to be the one that I chose to move away from my career and go towards parenting. And then I worked within my child's school industry in mindfulness and wellness. And so that is something that I always had within me.
Yeah. So in hindsight, do you think that it's amazing that he asked you that question? Because had he not, you would have probably signed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, and I didn't expect it. I mean, of all questions that he would ask me, he would say to me maybe something like, he said, or don't do this, or I don't want you to, and da, da, da. And this involved a lot of travel. And I appreciate the fact that it did, he wanted the commitment. It was starting up within the region. It was, it was a very big brand. But at the same time, I also felt that was very wrong, because you're a multinational. You're a European company. You're not something which is a small, startup, but it was meant to be. It was meant to be. And that kind of just allowed me to be more aware of my intuition. I think that's when the whole thing of like, I go with my gut, and throughout parenting, people kept on saying to me, but I know you're doing these smaller things, but why don't you go back to work? Because you're intelligent and you can do all these things. But I just said, no, I want to be that's what I want to do, and stuck to it.
Aliya, your story is can serve so many people, because every time we think that, hey, I've manifested this and I manifested this and I want this. And in that moment, you spoke about this was the test, right? I think in the wellness world, in the spiritual understanding, in the laws of the universe, understanding what a test is so important at that moment, to tune into your gut, to surrender, to allow the process. Do you have such stories? I know you work with so many people and so many renowned, known people in Dubai, in UAE that come to your center. Do you have some stories to share with us where, how does one recognize when they're going through that test phase? Well, technically, we always test it sometimes, but in your opinion?
In within the center?
Within
Or
within life, whatever you've experienced.
I mean, you are constantly meeting people. I think when you give out the vibe that you can recognize it in others, or you recognize it within yourself, it automatically attracts those kind of things to you, because we talk about laws of attraction and stuff like that. But if you have empathy towards a lot of people, then people do come to you and say, oh, I'm going through this major transition in my life. I really don't know what to do. I'm kind of falling apart. And I think so many people come and they confide, and because that is something that's bothering them. And with the environments that we live in, it's not easy for people to express themselves, and that is the biggest form of a gift, because really when somebody reaches out to you, it is really the trust, the honesty, they're putting their trust in you, and that is, for me, is much more of a bigger compliment than, let's say, I achieve something in a very stressed workout relationship in the office, So I think always that human element for me has always been resonates. And I think people are becoming so much more aware that they have problems, or I think with the age that we live in, with open information, I think people are able to pick up, what they need. So I think there are people that have really come and we've really helped them, and there's been a lot of transformations in people. I don't want to take any examples, or I don't want to put anyone in any, but yes, there are definitely people who go through major caterpillar to butterfly transitions, and it's really beautiful. I mean, the industry that we're in is purely human related. It is really to do with, everything up here, and down here. So, there's been a lot of people who transformed or have had stories of transformations. I mean, people I see all the time, how they woke up to becoming facilitators of wellness, how they were in the corporate world or how they were in another industry, or they were just, and they felt that there was this constant need for them to do something. And there are these people who've now been practicing for 10, 15, 20 years, and they are ace at what they do, you know? So definitely a lot of people around us with transformations.
Amazing, amazing. So within your center, Aliya, what is your favorite, modalities that you feel so drawn to? Would you like to elaborate, share with everybody listening that if someone has not understood the energy part of it, they've not understood, all the different elements that go beyond allopathic treatment, then this is your stage. Tell us everything about it.
Yeah, I mean, we have such a wide variety of things that we offer. We have anything from the mental to the physical to the spiritual or soul level, choices that I personally, for me, I think I love sound, because when I'm in the sound space, it is my space, but yet I'm sharing that energy with everyone, and that allows the whole group thing is a very beautiful,
Experience.
sort of result. So when I do go into sound, any kind of sound, I mean, I love it. It's you see immediately effect on everybody. In other modalities, you still work at it, you keep going and you see, but within the sound, I mean, you do 1.5 hours of sound, and you know what, you all get up and you are vibrating on that same level, and that's a beautiful feeling, because there's just love. Everybody says, oh, that's, but you know what, it really truly is. I mean, I'm a marketing person, and I'm quite a practical person, hopefully. But I do find that sound really does resonate with everybody, whether it's guided, unguided, it is a beautiful element. But at the same time, we have these incredible practitioners who also have the same results, because it is about the person, individual. And these amazing people have made so much impact on people individually. So sound would be at the top, but I would have many other modalities. I mean, we've got, kinesiology, we've got access bars, we've got light therapy, we've got, we've got a PMF mat, which you can lie on, and it's really good for physical traumas, reducing swelling, allowing the blood to flow properly within the body. It's just a mat that you lie on for half an hour, but you feel really good, and then of course we have the psychologists, the clinical psychologists. We've also got so many. We've got tarot reading. We've got it's an endless stream of things. And we've got also a lot of physical things that we can help with, a chiropractor, or we can even we have people who do breath work. We have hypnotherapy. We've got people who do Reiki, pranic. So it's just a total encompassment of wellness, but sound, coming back to that, is probably my most favorite.
I love the fact that you said that, everyone comes in, but when they leave, they're all vibrating at the same level, the same frequency. I think that is so interesting, because very often, for whatever each person goes through, their own experience, what's in the background playing as an open, act in their mind, to have everyone leave a class with the same vibration is just so amazing. Yes. Right? It's so amazing. Aliya, tell me a little bit. It's instant, right? Because it just uses the law of, I don't know, physics, or
and you forget everything that you came in with. You see, you come in with all those, like you said, but you leave with actually a blank slate to start the day over again. So you go and you sleep and you wake up, and you have the opportunity to say, I'm a little bit more mindful of the day. Exactly, and I'm a little bit more aware, because yesterday was so beautiful. And I think that's why people need to just keep doing it regularly, to keep reminding or reprogramming their brain to say, rest.
And that's the beauty also of sound vibration, because even if there are blocks, physical manifested blocks, in your bloodstream, your muscles, it dissipates that energy. I mean, I
Yeah.
have learned using sound for, cleansing the energy of a home, of an office. And Alia, it used to be so fascinating in the beginning because you'd use the tinctures and then it would have this really odd resonance and, shaky resonance. And then after you keep cleansing it, it goes, the
Mm.
really long resonance. And it's like, oh my God, all of this existed, right? I mean, today when we see it,
Yes.
we're like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. When you're new to the idea, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
how amazing is
You
that?
get
And
goosebumps. I mean, if you even take a small little sound bowl, like not even a big one or a sophisticated one, you just take a small one and you just do that. I mean, you just literally, vibrates all the way up your arm, the
yeah,
energy in itself. I mean, it's opening a lot of the meridians, it's opening a lot of the, it's allowing your blood to flow to your brain as well, which is super important.
yeah.
So yeah, no, I think it is much needed everywhere, especially for youngsters, especially for teenagers and kids. I think for them, more people should introduce their children to these kind of modalities because these are just it's just for them to allow to absorb. There has to be no ulterior meaning to it, saying, "Oh, and this is going to happen." Just take your kid and do it. Let
Cleanse
them
non-destructive.
subconsciously. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
So, so are you coming from, the sound modality and all the other different therapies at the center? You wrote something very beautiful in the form that what is the one thing that everybody you wish had? You spoke about the positive outlook. You spoke about, yeah, empathy in communication while it's still logical. Take us through that.
Yeah, communication is the actual part of our success, if you can say. Everybody needs to communicate. And if you can communicate something properly, the point is taken across very quickly, and it's absorbed. And positive communication is always the fact that we must always change our vibrational frequency of positivity. And we have to just, if there's something that you don't like, look to the better of it and say, well, we're gonna make it better, and we're going to do something about it, and we're going to change it, rather than just say, oh, that's it. It's not happening. And
Yeah.
we're blocking ourselves. So, communication towards everybody must always be positive. It will always, even if you have somebody angry in front of you, it's very easy to turn that around with kindness, with understanding where that person is coming from in their anger level, you know and I think that's really lacking in the world at the moment. We are we
Why do
are
you think?
really not.
Why do you think that it's
I
lacking?
think people are so much in a rush to get to where they are, and they're the problems that they have within their mind. Sometimes you have something here, but something else comes out.
Yeah.
You're thinking of one thing, and then you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. But so communication comes back to that, right? So even if you kind of hit another person, car wise, it happened,
Yeah.
and what do we do? What do we do after that? So it's always like, never look at a problem and then ponder on that problem. Look at what we can achieve. So communication then comes into effect, because you're just like, okay, so how can we change this around? How can we do this? Let's communicate, let's talk. Ideas come through communication,
Right.
when you
Do you think,
brainstorm.
do you think, Alia, that communication and the effectiveness of it is related to one's healing journey?
Yes, for sure, because you talk differently, right? So when you are in that process of becoming aware of yourself,
Right.
you do change your patterns. You change the way you look at things, or the way you behave with people, or your even your communication, your tone, your talking. It all changes, but you have to have another person who might not be aware of themselves, or are not on that journey, but this
Correct.
person is. You communicate with them and you make them realize that, hey, okay,
Same.
I want to try that. I want to be part of this journey, because they're giving me the positive vibes that I need, and I need those vibes to get well. And I think that's why I'm saying that, generally people are in such a rush. They don't look at these positive lines of communication. Encouragement. Positive means encouragement, kindness, empathy, all of these elements are incorporated within that. So it's very important. And that's why, I mean, we align ourselves with the fact that, every human being's wellness is our priority. It's number one. And, they come and they ask us, what shall we do? I really want to try something, but I'm not sure what I want to try. This is what I have. And again, communication comes within that. You positively try to find out without treading on too many emotions, what is it that you're looking for? What do you want, us to help you with? So I think communication is generally with everything that you do in life, with your children, with your
Yep.
spouses, with your colleagues, with work environment,
With even
with
the way
clients who,
you express yourself, it's all through communication. People are not
yes,
just hearing your language or your vocabulary, they're hearing you
yes,
expressing your energy, who you are on the inside.
yeah. It's very important. It's important to be transparent, because if you are not you, then you're pretending to be someone else, and eventually that will crack.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you
People pick it up, and
always,
we can say that people are busy and they don't get it, but everyone has that sense that I see you from a distance, I like you or I don't like you, no matter all the good right things you're saying, all the right pictures that are going out there.
yeah,
That connective vibe, I think people are very aware of it. They're very aware of it.
yes. Yeah, it is totally from the heart,
Mm.
I think I would not be here if I didn't feel it from the heart. I think it's very, very important for me to in anything that I do, in any project that I've done, I've always wanted to be part of it completely, and this is something, I mean, somebody coming down with having shed a few tears, that's progress. Somebody laughing and smiling, that's progress. Somebody coming with becoming boisterous and noisy, and that means they've come out of themselves and they're feeling happy. So I think in any results, whether it's good or bad, it's progress.
Progress, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
we keep on improving ourselves. Even with us, I mean, we are constantly learning new things. I mean, every single day is like 10 things that we learn that are new, you
Hmm.
know about people, about modalities, about, I mean, I'm surrounded by this amazing information technology, but it's not technology, it's information that is floating around. And all these beautiful facilitators come and share that. And I'm, very, very lucky and very proud that I can actually absorb all of this.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Alia, tell us a little bit more about what, if you had to leave a legacy back, and you, not if you had, you are leaving that with every interaction, every exchange you have with people. But if you could go back and put a topic in a school book, what would that topic be?
In a school book, I
Yeah.
think that would there would be several. Not be one, it'd be like a list of all these
And you're
things.
like, throw the earlier history, geography, you got to learn breath, you got to learn yoga, Ayurveda, sound, you know.
I think the first thing would be present.
That's
Be
beautiful.
present. We forget as kids to be present. We think about, we're old enough, we're gonna, we're
Don't you think when we are kids, naturally kids are present? They'll be playing and they can't hear you calling them. They can't, if they're watching the TV, they're just there. The entire world like disappears. So
yeah,
naturally they are present till they're taught not
yeah.
to be.
Yeah, no, they should be present. I think they should be more present. I think the present that you're talking about is much more of the state of mind, but more present. I remember, growing up, and now I look back and I said, oh my God, I wish I had paid more attention to this. I wish I had paid more attention to that element. And I think kids are present physically, if you know what I mean, But I think emotionally, the emotional intelligence and the emotional presence, I want to be out of here. I don't want to be in my school day. I don't want to be, I want to be older. I want to be, I want to be there,
what's happening.
Yeah. So, the sort of, I think the three things would be present, be kind, and love yourself. Because I think these are the love yourself is not taught in schools,
Yeah, it's
to
not
love
even taught at
yourself.
homes, right? I mean, not a lot of adults understand what love yourself means. The minute we talk about self-love, everyone is thinking about a spa day, about a day away from home, about, an excessive
Yeah.
indulgence, which is fine, but not eventually. Where's the
Yes.
authentic truth? Where is stepping in your truth, stepping in your higher self? None of that is spoken about, well, thankfully, up till, the
No,
recent.
absolutely. And the thing is about, in schools, for example, children go through such a hard time because they're judged at every step. You're a goody two shoes, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that. So it is all about you at the end of the day. And we all went to school, we all know what it's about. The self-love must always be that, you are what you are, and just embrace it. This is it. And schools don't teach those kids that, because mindfulness needs to be really, really enforced within the school system. And they are our future at the end of the day, and that's why I always try to encourage people, bring your kids to something that will open up their minds to, in the future, it's a tool that they can pick and say, oh, my mother took me to Gong, or my mother took me to breath work, and I really loved it. So maybe I should tap into that. So give those tools to your kids, not necessarily now, but let them taste it, and let them. So self-love, be present, all of these things are much more internal, I think, rather than the external side. But the list is endless. I can, like I said, there's just so much that
No, but
you
I
can do
love
in
the
a
topics you've picked on, because they're at the core, they're the essence of creating aligned beings, creating
yeah.
adults and youngsters that are not triggered. Today, most people, you walk out on the road, well, not on your road, it's everyone's like in this nice zone, we're all happy
Yeah,
there, but you walk out generally and everyone is walking with some wound, one open wound, whether it's a financial
absolutely.
pain, it's personal, it's emotional, it's relationship, that people are triggered so easily to say
Yeah.
that, which in effect means that there's so much of unhealing that is all just surfacing up, that passes on to kids, whether you're a teacher or whether you're a parent or you're a relative, and kids are just absorbing that in their energy even
Yeah.
without knowing it.
Yeah,
Remember
absolutely.
when we were chatting
Absolutely.
earlier, the last time we met, I think that so many kids, my daughter, her friends, so many children, post the pandemic, they just sit in their room. They're so used to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they'll sit around a table with their telephones.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've
So
seen
they'll literally all be at a dinner, and they go out for dinner like
that.
teenagers, and then they'll just sit there and they'll be on their phone the whole time. Or they'll be chatting with each other or playing with each other within the phone thing. But I
Yeah.
mean that conversation, and the most amazing thing is, if you remove any of these things for a very short period of time, they actually start talking, and they actually start using the language, and it's faced by I think a lot of the parents, that that thing in the hand or that on the table is just isolating those kids further. But again, we have to make a conscious thing, and absorbing kids, absorbing their parents thing, that is one of the reasons they go into the room, close the door, because
Exactly.
there's obviously a lot of other things that are coming up into the surface. um but it's all intertwined. I mean, our society anywhere in the world, everybody walks around with an open wound. I think
Mhm.
everybody does.
Exactly.
And if you find that place that helps you heal a little bit, you must stick to it and just really take more of it in and more of it in. And again, it's all about giving people tools, You know, we have amazing people again who are happy to part with those, you know, by giving free talks or giving, you know, having conversations or creating collaborations so that people are able to really taste what they
Yeah.
have to offer. Yeah.
Well, amazing. Thank you so much for spending your morning with me. Our
Thank
conversation
you.
never ends. I love your company. I love chatting with you, Aliya. But before
Same.
we go, I have one question. The podcast is called Say More. So, what, according to you, should people be saying more about?
I think people should be saying more about emotions, and I think people need to start talking about themselves. And I think we need to stop looking at and blaming the world for all our problems and look at our own issues and try to help ourselves. And I think that is one of the things that I think people should talk more about is themselves, and how to improve and ask, never be afraid of help, you know? So like the conversations that you have with people, hopefully at some turning point, one of your conversations will help somebody and they'll go and they'll try it out. And I think, you know, that is saying more because, you know, hey, I put my hand up, I've got an issue, you know? And I think you're doing a great job. I think, you know, I think people need to come out. They need to start conversing, back to communication, you know, and having these open talks. You know, the raw wounds have to come out.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Aliya.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
you can find Aliya, her wisdom, everything that she's doing on Instagram at Aliya. That's ALIYAIHK. That's going to be in the show notes. You can click on that. And you can also follow and visit her at a center, which is Keyani_Wellness. Trust me, been there, experienced stuff, also have my book there. Beautiful center, beautiful vibe. You can actually sense, and that's tangible energy of softness, of kindness. Everything that Aliya spoke of is at Keyani Wellness.
Well, you're part of the Keyani family now. So
I am.
you are, anybody that comes through our doors is part of the Keyani family. So we welcome anybody and everybody.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Aliya. This was such a wonderful conversation. So
Thank
easy
you.
for people to absorb, to think about 3 things they want to give their children, or even as adults, just to be present to, I forgot the other 2 parts, but I will go back
Love
to
yourself.
love yourself.
Be
Yes.
kind. Be kind.
Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah.
Be present, be kind, and love yourself. I think that's great advice, even for an adult, even for someone at 60, at 70. It's never too late.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's never.
absolutely. And your calendar on my desk says it all, because
Yeah.
it every day I flip it over and something wonderful comes. So it's always a good reminder. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Aliya. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone that's tuned in. Stay in touch. Have a quick look and glance at the wonderful thing that Aliya gets out for all of us to experience. Until the next time, say more. Live a wonderful, big, shining life. Bye for now.
Bye.